A father and son in Kansas are being called heroes after saving a 4-year-old boy with autism from drowning in a pool. We do want to warn you, this video may be hard to watch. This surveillance video shows the little boy coming out of his family's apartment, and he heads straight for the pool. That's when a man jumped to rescue him after his 12-year-old son alerted him to what had happened. Now listen to this. The boy was in the pool for more than 3 minutes before he was pulled out. The man did have lifeguard training and performed CPR, therefore saving that little boy's life. So joining us now, Fire Battalion Chief Rob Fleap, who was there at the scene when the boy was saved. Battalion Chief, so glad that this story ended this way, but it certainly could have been so much different if not for the quick actions of that neighbor and his 12-year-old son.
Absolutely, Nichole. One, thank you very much for having me on here. I'm really happy to be able to share this story with everybody. What Tom and his son Maddox did absolutely saved Xavier's life. Just by watching the video, you can see Xavier just plunge into the pool, and with the locked gate and the fence around it, there wasn't anyone that was going to be able to do anything. So Tom going over the fence, plunging in the pool, pulling him out and doing resuscitative measures absolutely changed the whole outcome of this call.
Absolutely, and this is a happy story, versus the horrible alternative. But Battalion Chief, you say drowning doesn't always look like what you might think it would look like. Can you explain that?
Absolutely. If you watch the video as we did during or after that incident, drowning doesn't look like drowning just based on what we see maybe in movies or TV shows where there's wild flailing about, maybe there is some screaming or yelling. That isn't what happened. When you watch Xavier actually go into the water, he just slips under. He's unable to get his head above the water, his mouth, his nose is underwater, and that's normally what you see. It's kind of quiet, it just happens. In fact, some of the statistics show that half of the drownings that 15 and under teenagers or children, half of them just slip under the water and they don't even make any noise. It is just very quiet. Just physiologically, they're unable to scream out just based on them trying to breathe. You're unable to propel yourself out of the water with your any kind of arm gestures. You're just basically trying to tread water and your head goes under and you just slip under very quietly, just exactly what happened to Xavier. So it just doesn't look like the wild flailing where you're able to scream for help. Yeah, it really doesn't. Watching that video, we can see little Xavier, has started to turn blue. Tom, was just amazing there at the scene. Whether it's the gate, whether it's him being able to run out of here, whether it's the fact that drowning, doesn't necessarily look like what we think it will look like. What, Battalion Chief, what do you want parents, what do you want people to really take from this experience, from watching this video, seeing what happened to Xavier? Well, it's a really great question, and that really gives me a point to kind of push on this, is that in our job, we usually get there just a few minutes after whatever has happened. So in this case, Tom was able to save Xavier with some hands-free CPR. So just knowing that resuscitative measure that you can actually perform on children, teenagers, or adults. So if I can just impress upon communities at whole to learn that kind of resuscitative measure. If you watch the video, it is edited at the point where we don't actually get to see the full 2 minutes and 41 seconds that Tom did resuscitative measures on Xavier. It is just a long, lengthy process that he did not give up. He just kept going and going. And during the parts of the video that were, for us, were very distressing to watch, was that he knew what he was doing was the right thing, and he was willing, literally willing Xavier to come back. So by the time I had gotten there, I could hear him cry, which was just music to like my ears to know that he's moving air and actually he's alive. But learning that the hands-free CPR would be fantastic, so we could have more of these stories.
Absolutely. I think I'm signing up for this summer because you're absolutely right. Battalion Chief Rob Fleap, thank you so much for your time today, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.